What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be discussing the Chicago Bulls and more specifically a response to Nikola Vucevic's comments after the game against the Brooklyn Nets. Now again, there's a short window to talk about this situation because in a couple of hours time we are going to be facing the Boston Celtics in another in-season tournament game. We are already eliminated from the tournament, but Boston are not. And at the end of the day, Boston are going to come for our heads, ladies and gentlemen. Now, again, the Chicago Bulls are an easy target at the moment. We'll see how things go. Maybe the Bulls can make it competitive, but Boston are probably going to want to blow us out in that game. It is as simple as that. So let's quickly get into this situation with Nikola Vucevic and everything that has to follow through it. Before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and the comments that Nikola Vucevic has said about the entire situation with the Chicago Bulls. Apparently, the whole entire Bulls team is not necessarily happy with each other at the moment, and I wouldn't necessarily say have their own player meeting, but apparently the biggest topic of discussion is the lack of communication around the Chicago Bulls. And Vucevic kind of said something similar in I guess, the whole pick-and-roll coverages and just everything in between. Basically saying the Bulls did a very poor job in communicating on defense, and the Bulls did not necessarily honor when people were trying to, I guess, call for coverage and stuff of that nature. So at the end of the day, that did lead to a lot of opportunities where Brooklyn were able to capitalize. It led to Brooklyn scoring 25 threes, which is 2 away from their franchise record. And things just got a little bit heated after the game, which I'm not surprised. Again, the Bulls fell from a 22-point lead, I believe it was, to start the game. And that was by far the best start we've ever seen from the Chicago Bulls team this season. And it fell on deaf ears. It fell really, really badly. But again, what Vucevic has said today or a couple of days ago about the communication issues with the Chicago Bulls is not new news. It's not like we finally just discovered the problem with the Chicago Bulls, and that is they don't communicate. This has been an ongoing issue for 3 years with this team. It's as simple as that. So when Vucevic is saying there's no communication on defense, I don't necessarily think he's wrong. When he's saying that his teammates don't, I guess, honor the coverages, and that's where the communication falls, I don't think he's wrong. But let's not pretend like this is new news. Let's not pretend like this is something we've just discovered with the Chicago Bulls. I find it fascinating, and again, I will never forget this when it comes to this current Chicago Bulls team, how Torrey Craig, a new signing for the Chicago Bulls at the time, someone that didn't play a single minute of regular season action for the Chicago Bulls, he was only speaking in a preseason sense, came in and said, this Bulls team does not talk. And what is it now? 13 losses, 5 wins, 18 games in, if my math serves me correctly. And we're having the same issue. The Bulls don't talk. The Bulls don't communicate on defense. The Bulls don't communicate on offense. What a surprise! Again, is anyone really surprised by this? And this does not necessarily put Nikola Vucevic out of, I guess, the firing zone in many ways, in the sense that, look, he got destroyed in that game. You can talk about coverage or not. They put you on islands out there. And maybe the Hub defense was poor, maybe it wasn't. But at the end of the day, I still stand by this. Nikola Vucevic should have been taken out of that game against the Brooklyn Nets. And the fact that he wasn't was a poor judgment call on Billy Donovan, the head coach of the Chicago Bulls. I can't blame Vucevic for getting destroyed by point guards. Why is he on the point guard in the first place? And why was he staying in the game when it was clear that he was targeted on the defensive end all game? I understand his frustration, but I also understand his liabilities. And maybe all of that's coming together with the Chicago Bulls team. But not communicating enough, how can we resolve that? At the end of the day, if we are 18 games in and we still don't talk enough, at some point you have to understand the fact that this Bulls team may never speak enough on the defensive end, on the offensive end of the floor. It could be temporary fixes. You might see it next game against Boston. We'll start communicating more on the defensive end, but give it 5 more games and we're going to go back to the same way. I think it's clear cut. Our identity is what it is. It will not be changed unless we make the changes ourselves internally and externally. You know, again, I think maybe with Lonzo Ball, things like communication on defense might not be the biggest issue we may ever have. But unfortunately, we don't have Lonzo Ball. And last game, we didn't have Alex Caruso either. So yes, we were quiet on the defensive end. When Alex Caruso comes back, we may not be that quiet on the defensive end. When Lonzo Ball comes back next year, if he does come back, we probably won't be quiet at all on the defensive end. I don't have the answers for you guys. I don't have the clear-cut answer for you. But I think it's simple as this. This team's identity is what it is. With the big three the way that it is, with the coaching staff the way that it is, I don't see massively important, big, and more specifically permanent changes coming to the Chicago Bulls team. So if we're quiet now, we'll be quiet in 10 games time. If we are quiet now, we'll be quiet until the end of the season. Change the identity of this team. I think changing the head coach is part of that as well. I've said that numerous times throughout the week, and I stand by it. But the big three as well, those are the changes that you need to make to bring the culture and to bring the identity that you want back into this team. And until that happens, expect the same problems to be the same problems. Expect slow starts. Expect the Bulls to fall away in the fourth quarter. Expect the Bulls to not play all fourth quarters. Expect all four quarters, my apologies. Expect the Bulls, at the end of the day, to not communicate on offense or defense. Expect the offense to be stagnant. Expect the defense to be okay, because it has been okay in all fairness. I'm not going to come out here and say it's been awful. The last game, yes, it was awful, but we didn't have our best defender there. With Alex Caruso, maybe things would have got a little bit better. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, expect the same issues to always arise from this Bulls team until changes are made. That's all I really got to say. Communication or not communication, there's much more problems there that will all stay the same. But what do you guys think? I will be doing a watch-along for this Boston game. Again, I'm not necessarily very happy with the Chicago Bulls at the moment, but still trying my best to still provide the content that you guys deserve at the end of the day. And that is a lot of work, a lot of frustration, of course, that comes along with it, but it is what it is. We'll wait and see how things go against Boston. Again, even a win here, I'll be happy if the Bulls win. I'll never ever say I'm going to be miserable when the Bulls win a game. If the Bulls win, I will come into a game reaction happily. I'll be in the stream happy to see the Bulls win. But one win won't change anything. At the end of the day, you can't expect the Bulls to go 5-70, whatever it is. You know what I mean? We're going to have to win eventually, but nothing will be permanent change with the Chicago Bulls team. So enjoy a win when it comes, but of course, expect more losses than wins on the horizon. Thank you for watching. Drop a like and a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. I will see you in the watch along against the Boston Celtics. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.